All right, so I just got done with the lift. Honestly, this is probably the hardest lift of the Haas Project 2 so far. So, I mean, you'll see it, but I didn't do any sort of intro, like talking to you as I was doing my jumping. But so I started off with some just short two-step approach jumps. So I used the hurdle, obviously, jump over that. Got into back squats. I had 4 working sets of the back squats, a top set of 3, followed by 3 back off sets with descending weight for every single set. So yeah, you'll see those, and then some low incline pause press with chains, so with accommodating resistance, and some stiff leg deadlifts with a slow tempo on the way down. It crushed me, man. I'm not gonna lie. This is I got 6 more weeks of the Haas Project 2. A lot of you guys have been asking me like when it's going to be released. It's probably going to be released sometime in May because it's March 31st right now. I got 6 more weeks of the program to run myself, so that'll take us into May. And then I'm going to have to finish up and clean up the template, clean up the ebook. And like I've said, I'm going to make 2 separate programs, one with Olympic lifts, one without Olympic lifts. So it'll be 2 separate like Excel spreadsheets. And then I want the ebook to be really good. So I want it to be clean. I want it to have a really good readability. I want it to be practical. And I want to provide actual real value in it. So I'm hoping it can be done mid to late May. I guess we'll kind of see how it plays out. But today was definitely the hardest lift of the program so far. Yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say other than go ahead and see the video. My brain wasn't really into it today. So like I was reading some questions. My schedule today, I had a client at 5 a.m., client at 6 a.m. So I was up really early, 2 back-to-back clients. I taught at 9, had a client immediately after my class at 10. It's 10:05 is when he comes. And then I got my lift in, and I got a lot of shit to do this afternoon for work for my job on campus, and just a lot of stuff going on. So I was trying to get through it quick. My brain wasn't really into it, so I apologize if some of the questions aren't very coherent, or some of the answers to the questions aren't very coherent. But yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Again, I appreciate you watching. I'm still wearing my polo from Barbell Apparel, so plug to Barbell Apparel. They're doing a sale right now, a buy 2, get 1 free until I think April 28th. So you got like 4 weeks to do a buy 2, get 1 free. I'm wearing Barbell Apparel. This is what I wear when I teach, is the Barbell Apparel polos. I can still lift in them. They're flexible. They're stretchy. They're comfortable. They look good. So anyways, I just had to remind you on that. So yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Appreciate you watching. Going through these warm-ups right now, in my mind, I want to hit 535 to 550 for a double or a triple for my top set before I do my back-off sets. Looking at my OVR, I'm moving these warm-up sets faster than I typically do. So 455, my previous fastest rep ever was 0.6, and I moved those at 0.65, 0.66, 0.63. So my legs must be feeling good, even though I played basketball this weekend. My knee's starting to kind of be a little achy from just some jumper's knee, some patellar tendinopathy. So I'm going to jump up to 495, hit that for 1 or 2, see how that feels. And yeah, we'll see what I can work up to for my top set of 2 to 3. So my previous best or previous fastest rep at 495 is 0.54, and I just moved that at 0.56. So I think my legs are feeling pretty good. I'll do a small jump to 520 here, and then decide what I want to do. Yeah, I'm feeling decent. That moved at 0.50. I'm going to put a quarter on top of this to make it 545. Hit it for a double or hopefully a triple. 0.44, 0.41, 0.35. So really happy with that. Even though my back collapsed a little bit on that last rep. I'll see how I looked on camera, but I could feel it. Had a little turtle shell type feel to it. So do my back offsets now, strip some weight off, and keep working. What should an athlete's resting heart rate be? I don't know if there's a figure for it, but I mean, generally speaking, the lower the better. I know mine's like in the upper 40s, lower 50s. At least that's what it is according to my Apple Watch. But I guess if you're under 60, you're probably pretty healthy, regardless if you're an athlete or not. So I would just aim for under 60 beats per minute, I think. But lower, if you're in the low 50s, if you're in the upper 40s, I think that's pretty healthy. But I don't have a figure to it. Any issues with teaching the snatch over the clean for football? I found the snatch easier for me to coach, but it's not like I wouldn't teach the clean. I just found it easier for me, and it's been safe overall. Yeah, I agree. I think teaching the snatch is easier. It's easier when you're teaching someone to snatch before teaching them to clean. Because of the wider grip, it's easier for them to get the barbell into the hip, into that higher contact point. And then, so if you teach them to snatch first, they're going to be able to translate the delayed knee extension, the higher hip contact, because they've been getting reps with that higher hip contact from snatching before cleaning, going to carry over to the clean. I've noticed when you teach the clean before the snatch, the contact point is a little bit lower with the clean. And a lot of times they don't, because of the more narrow grip, they're going to start making contact on the lower thighs, the mid thighs. That's just a habit when you're teaching people in a big group, and you can't necessarily provide individual instruction for everybody. You're going to see those types of habits. And then when they try to snatch after they've learned to clean, they haven't built the habits of finishing their pull, getting the bar into the hip. So yeah, I think teaching the snatch first is a lot better strategy than teaching the clean first. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. All right, first back off set here. It's going to be, I got 528 on the bar. Let's get it. Do you believe mass is necessary or valuable for athletes in a non-contact sports? For example, Olympic weightlifters in the 70 kg category can put up pretty large numbers. I am curious to hear more about your case for mass and what context it's important in. Does it matter for physical fitness? That's a good question, dude. I think you have to identify which non-contact sport you're talking about. I mean, you did with the Olympic weightlifters, but let's take barbell sports out of it. Because obviously if you're doing Olympic weightlifting or powerlifting, there's weight classes. So you want to be as heavy as you can in the weight class that you're in. So, but think about baseball. I think this is a really good case study. Baseball, back in the steroid era, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, they all put on a ton of mass. Obviously they were using PEDs. But baseball is a non-contact sport, and I think those guys being generally stronger, generally more powerful, with greater amount of muscle mass compared to what they were before, that definitely allowed them to hit the ball harder and hit more home runs, hit with more power. So I think there's definitely a case to be made for putting on more mass, but obviously there's a point of diminishing returns to it. I mean, think about wrestlers. The more muscular and more lean mass you have as a wrestler, as long as you're within your weight class, that's a contact sport. Think about soccer, I guess. Soccer, a lot of people would probably call soccer a non-contact sport, even though there's some contact into it. Having some mass and muscle mass is going to help you kind of fight through some of the physicalness of soccer. But obviously being aerobically fit is much more conducive to longevity than a significant amount of muscle mass. I think that's obvious. I don't know, man. That's such a broad question. Once you get to a certain point, I don't know what that point is for muscle mass to be physically fit, but being aerobically fit is much more important for health and longevity if you have to dichotomize it, which you don't want to dichotomize it. But I don't know. It's a good question. I don't really have a great answer for you. My mind's not fully in it right now either. It's been a long day. I was up at 4. I had a client at 5, client at 6, class at 9, another client after class. It's about 11:45 right now. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I apologize, ma'am. to the question, is mass necessary for non-contact sports? I would say yes, mass is necessary, but it's not necessary if it's going to be at the expense of your aerobic fitness, your aerobic capacity, your ability to replenish ATP at different energy systems or within different energy systems. But let me get to my next set. I got 505 on the bar for my next back off set, so let's get it. Do you think cardiovascular capacity positively impacts recovery, and if so, how much? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's kind of why the whole avoiding conditioning thing, or avoiding neglecting conditioning because you play a power-based or sprint-based sport, so you should pretty much only sprint fast and never work on your aerobic capacity is like totally bonkers to me, because of course it does. Having an aerobic base, having a robust cardiovascular system, cardiorespiratory system, improves your ability to recover, like intra-set recovery. So like within a session, you do a hard effort, you can recover faster prior to the next hard effort. And then also it improves your ability to recover from session to session. So you train hard one day, your cardiovascular system, if it's robust, if it's efficient, you're going to recover better 24 or 48 hours later for your next hard training session. So yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. All right, here's my last set. I got 480 on the bar. Last set of squats. All right, now I'm moving on to the low incline paused press with accommodating resistance. I've got a lot of questions about accommodating resistance, what I think about it, and if I prefer bands or chains. Honestly, I hate bands. I hate the way it feels. I feel like if you kind of misgroove a rep on the way down or on the way up, it ricochets you in a weird way. I just don't like it. Every time I've used bands, not every time, but plenty of times in the past when I've used bands, like the day after or a couple days after, I get like elbow achiness or knee achiness, kind of depending on the exercise I use. I just don't like bands. If you like bands, use bands. I don't like them. I prefer chains. Chains are a little bit more forgiving. So that's my opinion. How long have you been training in your garage for? Do you ever have any interest in going to a public gym? Oh, man. Not really, dude. I've been training in my garage. Well, I used to work on campus with the athletic department at UND. So I would train on campus in the athletic weight rooms here and there once or twice a week. But now that I'm no longer in athletics, I've been training exclusively in my garage basically since I took the teaching job, which was in August. But even before, I mean, it's been about a year, like a year ago, about a year ago, and even when I was still with athletics, I was pretty much training exclusively in my garage. So it's been about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year. Do I have any interest in going to a public gym? Well, I lost access to my garage due to construction in my house for about 6 to 8 weeks or so. So I was training at a Sanford Power. But that's not like your typical public gym. That's like a sports performance gym. So they had platforms. It wasn't like a Lifetime. It wasn't like an Anytime Fitness or anything like that. The equipment there kind of sucks because it's like sports performance. So I've talked about this. I don't know if I've talked about this like on YouTube before. All of these sports performance gyms, not all of them, a lot of sports performance gyms, for some reason, if I could pick if I had like an unlimited budget and I was running a sports performance gym, I wouldn't spend my money on like nice hurdles, nice plyo boxes, nice medicine balls. I would spend my money on really nice Olympic barbells, power bars, platforms, nice bumper plates. I would spend my money on that. And I feel like there's this weird, I don't know what to call it, mentality, for lack of a better term, mentality, yeah, where like sports performance gyms, they don't want to spend their money on like really nice Olympic bars. They don't want to spend their money on like weightlifting or powerlifting equipment because they're a sports performance. They care about athletic development. So they spend their money on plyo boxes, medicine balls, jump ropes. And I just think it's a really poor allocation of funds. But no, as far as like going to a Lifetime Fitness or an Anytime Fitness, I don't have much desire to do that. I'm an introvert, dude. I like to train in my garage. I like to train alone, listen to my own music, listen to a podcast if I want, train in silence if I want. I don't want to worry about like, am I spending too much time on one piece of equipment? Am I spending too much time like on a certain rack? I don't really have much of a desire to train at a public gym, unless I was going to like the Collective where Tim Riley is, a place like that. I don't know. No, I don't really have much interest, but I guess it would be fun every now and again. Like if I'm traveling, just to kind of see what the vibe is. Because another thing that I get asked like on Instagram and on YouTube is like, what kind of mistakes do I see people make? And I don't know what kind of mistakes people are making in their training because I train alone. All I know is like what I see on Instagram and YouTube, and I think most of the people I follow on Instagram and YouTube are well knowledgeable people, so they're not like making mistakes. So that's like one question that I can never answer. I always question whether or not when people do answer that question, when people do answer the question of what kind of mistakes do you see, I think a lot of times they're making it up because I'm not sure anybody really knows the programming of someone else, even if they just see like a snippet of what someone else is doing. And you can comment on that one snippet. Absolutely, that's fair game. But then to like make a broad sweeping claim about mistakes that you see in programming over and over again, things like that, those aren't really real. But no, it would be interesting, I guess, to go to a Lifetime Fitness, see what the vibes are like at a place like that. So, but I love training in my garage. I like being alone. I'm an introvert. Yeah. All right, moving on to the last thing of the day here. This has been a really hard lift. That squat session was hard. That shit got to me. Even that incline bench press was tough. So last thing here, deficit stiff leg deadlifts. I'm gonna do these with a slow, controlled eccentric contraction. Yeah. Man, this is hard. This is a hard lift, guys. Not gonna lie. Really hard lift. Am I still bulking? How is it going? I am still bulking. So as of January 6th is when I started this. So that's been basically all of January, all of February, all of March. It's been 3 months. I was 227 January 6th. I was 236 today. So I'm up 9 pounds. I've been slowly increasing body weight. I need to do another STIKU scanner, see what my body fat percentage is. But I got 6 more weeks of this left, so maybe I'll get up to 240. Maybe I can put on 3.5 to 4 more pounds to get up to 240, and then I'll probably cut back down, slim down again in the summer. But this has been a really good experience for me, man. I'm sure I put on some body fat. I've definitely put on a lot of muscle mass too. So yeah, been about 3 months. I'm up 9 pounds. I feel like that's a pretty good increase. Yeah, like I said before previously several times, I've never truly put an effort into my diet for an extended period of time, and I'm actually doing that right now. And that is the hardest thing about this. The training is easy. I enjoy training. I love training. I love pushing myself hard. I love lifting heavy. I love pushing myself for an extra rep, but like watching what I eat has been the hardest thing. And I'll do a full review when I'm done with this entire experiment. When I'm done with the Haas Project 2, I'll do an entire review for you guys. I'll show you my StyQ scanners. I'll show you my body fat, my FFMI, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 6 more weeks of this, and then I'm done, and I'll probably slim down for the summer. So I got one more set of the stiff leg deads here. I'm going to turn the camera vertical because I want to put it on Instagram. But that's really all I have for the video, guys. I appreciate you watching.